teach you Italian. These are really fun for me because they're not too difficult to film and hopefully they're helpful. The Italian language is amazing. I'm so grateful to be part Italian. So this is why I speak Italian, but I do not live in Italy. Quindi quando parlo in italiano alcune volte faccio gli errori. So I'll sometimes do some mistakes, but that is the whole point of learning language. Do not be afraid to make mistakes, and today we're going to do some more holiday vocab, seeing as it's the summer. I thought I'd put out this one quite soon after the other one. Okay, so I hope you enjoy it. So we're going to start off. Actually, before we do that, let's just do a quick breath in. If you've had a busy day today, please take this time now to unwind and relax. You deserve it. And I also don't always do this, but it's really important to do some deep breathing. So we're going to do some deep breathing together. And so I'm going to count 2, 3. You're going to breathe in. You can then hold it for 2 seconds, and then you're going to breathe out again for 3. Okay. So let's go. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm going to breathe in with you now. Let's do it one more time. Amazing. Okay, and let's actually apply a little bit of lip gloss. So these whispers are a little bit clickier. Clickier. This lip gloss is a little bit old now, but it still does the job. Okay, so we're going to start off with, let's see, shopping and souvenirs. So let's do, so the first one is a question, so it's quanto costa? How much does it cost? So if you're going to be buying a souvenir, this is a very useful thing to know how to say. So quanto costa? Quanto is what, and costa is like price, so what is the price? And quanto is used in a lot of other questions as well. Then we have è troppo caro. È troppo caro. So you might not use this in a shop. Like, just tell them that. I don't know if everyone does this, but in Italy there's a lot of like markets, like street markets, mercatini, and some people like to say, like, ask for a lower price. So in that situation you might say this word or this sentence. So è troppo caro. It's too expensive. It's too expensive. È is. Troppo is too. And then like too much. And then caro is expensive. Then we have mi può fare uno sconto. And when you're saying this quickly, you just say mi può fare un sconto. So mi può fare un sconto. Could you give me, or can you give me a discount? So again, this is sort of in that situation where you're at maybe a market or something. I've never really done this, maybe once, because yeah, some people are better at this than others. But yeah, mi puoi fare un sconto? Can you give me a discount? Then you have cerco un souvenir. Non so se c'è un'altra parola per souvenir, ma in italiano si usa la parola francese perché souvenir è francese. Quindi cerco un souvenir means I'm looking for a souvenir. Cerco is looking. I am looking. And then un souvenir, it literally is the same word. The same word. Sorry if you hear any background noise, by the way. Sorry. Okay, then we have è aperto. Is it open? And this is also good for restaurants as well. You know, if you're to sort of make up for some phrases. Now this next one I think is really important, at least for me, and it's cibo e bevande, so food and drink. Food and drink, food and drink, food and drink. Another word for drinks is like bibite, and that's usually non-alcoholic drinks, and bevande is just all drinks as well. So the first thing to know is what a restaurant is, and it's not too different to the English, but you say il ristorante, il ristorante. Now in other lessons I've taught you what where is, so if you remember, think about it now. So if you're going to say where is the restaurant, you'd say dov'è il ristorante, dov'è il ristorante. Then we have il bar, il bar. Now in England you might think that means bar if you're speaking English, but actually il bar is also used for cafes in Italy, which I think is a little bit different. So il bar is cafe/bar. Then we have il conto per favore, il conto per favore. So if you just want to know a few phrases for your holiday in Italy, you might just want to know what the bill is so that you can pay for your meal. So il conto per favore is please, and then il conto is the bill. So il conto per favore, per favore, per favore, per favore. Then we have un tavolo per due. So yeah, un tavolo per due, per favore. So you might be going into a restaurant and you want to ask for a table for two. You might want to ask a table for four. So un tavolo is the same, it's a table per for due persone. So this is two people in this case, but you could say quattro persone. Do you remember uno, due, tre, quattro, cinque persone. You just change the number in the middle. So that is, do you have a table for two people? Two people. And then vorrei, which is I would like. So if you're like, you've picked something on the menu, maybe you're getting the pizza, so you want margherita pizza, you go vorrei una pizza margherita. Not, you don't have to always order like that, like everyone orders differently, but that's polite to do it in that way. And then finally, avete piatti vegetariani. So obviously not everyone's vegetarian, but if you are, this is a good thing to ask. Usually on the menus they'll have a V anyway, so it doesn't matter too much, but it's a good thing to know. So avete piatti vegetariani? Do you have any vegetarian dishes? So I'm going to actually now test you quickly. I'm going to say the Italian and I want you to think in your head, or say out loud, but we're trying to relax here, so think in your head what it might mean. So il conto per favore, il conto per favore. Yes, it's the bill, please. Vorrei. What does that mean? What does that mean? I would like, amazing. And then finally, il ristorante. No. Sì, il ristorante. It's quite similar to the English. Yes, in case something were to happen on your holiday, which hopefully it shouldn't, but it's sometimes good to know in case something bad happens. Maybe you injure yourself, like you fall over, or you need some help. This is some ways to ask for that help. So I've just got a few phrases, it's not all of them. I've got help, I'm lost, where is the hospital, and call an ambulance. Okay, so help in Italian is aiuto. Then we have mi sono perso or this is attività, 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 attività. So, I've got some longer sentences here. I don't really have any individual words. I might just add them on at the end if I'm feeling like it. But we have, what do you recommend I see? I'd like to go on an excursion. Are there guided tours? Where is the museum? And is it far away? I think these are all pretty useful. So the first one is cosa mi consiglia di visitare? This is also written in a more, or said in a more formal way, which I think is really good to know. Obviously, if you're learning Italian, it can be difficult to get that, but if you're talking with strangers, a lot of the time people will use a slightly different. You'll use the lei format, so essentially that's how it's written here. I'm not going to go into it now because grammar can be very difficult, and Italian's got some difficult grammar, really interesting as well though. So to say what do you recommend, I see you say cosa mi consiglia di visitare. Consiglia is like recommend, so cosa mi consiglia di visitare. Then we have I'd like to go on an excursion. Vorrei fare una gita, una gita. Vorrei fare una gita. So this, you might be going into some cities or towns might have sort of like a tourist, like a visitor centre, and you can ask in there or say that I'd like to do a guide or an excursion, and they can then help you out. Then we have ci sono visite guidate. Are there guided tours? And this is really useful if you're going to, one of the big, well, there's so many amazing things in Italy, but for example, if you wanted to go to the Colosseum, you might want to ask if there are guided tours. So you'd say ci sono guidate, visitate. Ci sono visite guidate. I'm getting a little bit tired, as you can tell. Ci sono visite guidate. Then we have where is the museum? Dov'è il museo? Il museo. So where is the museum? And then finally we have is it far from here? È lontano da qui. È lontano da qui. So just look at those sentences. I'll quickly reread them. So cosa mi consigliate? Cosa mi consiglia di visitare? What do you recommend I see? Vorrei fare una gita. I'd like to do an excursion. Ci sono visite guidate. Are there guided tours? Dove si trova il museo? Where is the museum? And finally, è lontano da qui? Is it far from here? So I'm gonna now again ask you it. I'm gonna say the Italian just to make it a little bit easier, and you're gonna tell me what the English is. So, dove si trova il museo? Il museo. Where is the museum? Well done. Okay. Then vorrei fare una gita. I'd like to go on excursion. Well done. And to finish, dove si trova? Ah no, è lontano da qui. È lontano da qui. Da qui. Is it far from here? Amazing. Okay, I'm just gonna quickly say some of the other vocab that we learned earlier, and then we'll finish the video here. So, what is il ristorante? Il ristorante. Restaurant. Amazing. What's un tavolo per due? Per favore. Un tavolo per due. A table for two, please. Well done. Then we have quanto costa? How much does it cost? Amazing. And then è aperto. Is it open? That's really good. Mi sono persa. I am lost. Okay, well done. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you were able to learn a few things. If you're going to a city in Italy, a city is città.